This program is brought to you by the Brennan School of Business at Dominican University, along with Professor Zack Ross. I hope you enjoy.
Us up to what you're going to be doing for your presentations, really building a national program. You guys hold us back. Have you guys begun any of your group projects yet? At all? It's kind of a discussion phase. Who all started doing anything? Yeah, just like taking countries. Which one? Has anyone decided on a country? And then you said Puerto Rico. Japan. All right. And we'll touch base just so no one's doing this, the same two countries. So Japan, Puerto Rico, and everybody else is still undecided. Puerto Rico?
I'm looking forward to the Puerto Rican rice.
So one of the first things you're going to be doing with your projects is essentially building a national profile of the country that you're researching. This is important as an international manager because it's your beginning phase, your beginning stage. You're going to look at some very general factors about the country, and then you're going to take down the more specific elements of those general factors. Probably the three most important factors you're looking at as an international manager with these national profiles is religion, language, and government. These things are all very long term. They do not change. They rarely change. And if they do, it takes a very long time to change. And so that's just the general kind of initial three things you're going to be looking at within these national profiles. From here, you'll look at diversity of the population. Why is diversity important? If you're going to be operating a new business on a foreign territory.
What increases innovation?
Yes. And that diversity is pretty predictable. And innovation is probably not going to increase either there. Any other reason?
You have to see who you're targeting.
Target market. Anything else? I think it gives you a pretty historical narrative. You can pretty much learn a lot just by looking at the demographics of a country from a historical point of view. You can find sensitive issues like slavery just by looking at how diverse cultures, how mixed up the people are. And those are things that are sensitive that you should know to not repeat over those particular things. Next in the national profile is family values. Why is it important for family values? Or what are some of the elements of family values? That's right. Just, you can really see structure, the social structure through this. You can see how the society interacts with one another. That's what I'm saying. One of the biggest elements is class system. What kind of classes do we have here in the United States?
Income classes.
Middle class, low class.
Income.
It looks like.
What other statuses do we have as far as a social status, a class status?
Homeless. Homeless.
Homeless? Okay.
Like citizenship?
Yeah, it would be citizenship. Citizens versus non-citizens. Do we treat foreigners different than we treat citizens here? Do foreigners have access to the same things that citizens have access to? Do we think? You think there's discrimination in employment if you're a foreigner working on a visa versus someone who's a U.S. citizen? Is that something you check off all the time when you're filling out applications? That's very important. I mean, you're looking at your market right there, just based on how people discriminate from one another. What other things can we learn about looking at class system? Just an overall, what are things you can learn about a country or a society or a culture looking at class systems?
You can see how, like, the size of your target market.
Yeah. And then you can segment them too. So segmentation. What about interaction? The social behavior. So here in the United States, how do we interact between different classes? let's say poor and rich. Is there a very little interaction? Is there high interaction? Do the rich hire poor people to do specific jobs? You guys think?
Well, like here, it's not as bad as India where they have specific tasks and, you know, they're untouchables and whatnot, but over here it's kind of similar where, you know, like the CEO won't really talk to the janitor of his company as a, you know, he wouldn't talk to him the same as he would his peers, you know, he's kind of looks at him as an
So people view themselves in authoritative ways
yeah.
versus lower level people. So people don't talk if they're up in a particular class versus below. Is there a gap in communication?
They can talk to each other and they might talk to each other, but chances are they won't.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm talking top people versus CEO of McDonald's talking to the fry guy.
Yeah, they feel both, definitely.
What about politically here? That's amazing. What is our interaction in the United States from our politics? How's our communication? Anybody keep up with politics?
It's like hostile.
It's hostile. Are there billions of dollars being made off the political campaign this year? Do we interact in a way to where we just create visions, or do we interact in a way to where we try to assimilate our nationalism here in the United States? Does the media try to divide, or does the media, corporations, etc., try to bring people together? Anything divide? Another thing of politics is our politics at the highest level in government divided or together? Divided? Why do you think that is?
I think that's the way like the 1% keeps everybody else lower than them. Because once we come together, it's kind of the biggest power we have is citizenship. So it's
For power, right?
yeah.
And for money.
I forgot the song that is a rap, but this is a verse. I'm not thinking of it how to find it out, but it states it. It's like the biggest power we all have is if we come together and it's peace. But it's like it's true. I mean, we're so divided. We're so divided.
So as an international manager, you're coming into the United States hypothetically. We're just looking because we know the United States very well. And you're looking at the political atmosphere here, you're saying, well, which political side do I take as a corporation? Do I take Democratic or do I take more from the Republican side? How do I make more money? Depending on those values, those social values. Let's say party affiliation. Example, you're watching Fox News and you see a sponsor. You might get a bad taste in your mouth because a Democrat is back really want to support their company anymore. So those are strategic things that managers have to look at and say, well, what are we sponsoring? Who are we going to sponsor? And how is that going to affect our bottom line? Same goes for Democrats. If you're a Republican and you're looking at a particular store, I'll take it back. You're watching a program on MSNBC, which is a Democratic station, and you see all of these different sponsors. You as a Republican, like, I'm going away with that because they're talking about Hillary Clinton and now they're sponsoring Nike. I think Nike's has some sort of corporate involvement there with politics, and I'm no longer buying Nike. Which is happening now because since this political campaign is so big, now, so controversial, a lot of advertisers are throwing in the mix of the presidential debate. They kind of show Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton playing fighting, but they don't really show him doing it. These kind of subliminal messages. Now, a lot of people are boycotting a lot of different companies because they feel so strongly about their political affiliation. Don't be spending money there. So party affiliation is greatly important looking when you're doing the research and national profiling to see your ability and your impediments in these countries. What about etiquette? Is etiquette important? You're traveling abroad, you're going to do business, going to negotiate. How important is etiquette? Do we know what etiquette is? What's etiquette?
How do you carry yourself?
We carry a lot of things. It's basically your behavior, your physical presence, these little nuances. What are some specific things about etiquette we should be concerned as we're traveling abroad, about to negotiate, trying to cut a deal?
We should be flexible. We should be flexible.
Flexible? In what way?
Depending on what country you go, you should carry yourself a certain way, a different way. It's got adaptability, I guess.
Coming to a country, you're meeting a proposed business partner, what's the first thing you do? Agree. Are there different readings? Like what?
Japan is like a bow.
In America, we shake hands. In Japan, we bow. Any other type of greeting? Latin America, Middle East. What other type of greetings are there?
Was it kiss on both cheeks?
Some countries is one cheek, other countries is both, right? If you screw up here, everything else might be downhill. If this is just your initial presentation of yourself. Is it the same Saudi Arabia? What do you do?
Shake hands.
Shake hands, both cheeks, right?
Yeah.
Left and right.
It depends on what the city is. Because some cities just one kiss on the right side. So it depends what we are from inside. Where others
Okay. So you're saying this could depend on the region, right?
Yeah.
Where you're from is one or two.
Two.
2 or 3 on the same sheet.
You said 3?
2 or 3 on the same sheet.
Oh, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
What's the significance?
It's not like really physically like this, it's just like touching cheeks by cheeks and, you know, just making it sound like this. Yeah.
There's a lot of African countries, and particularly in South Africa too. Let's say during communication, during talks, negotiation. Have you guys ever seen that? Anywhere? Anywhere you travel? In Africa, men, a lot of men, they hold hands. And when I saw it the first time, I was like, wow, that's weird. I was like, it just threw me off for a little bit. Then, I asked one of the guys, he's Zulu, because there's a lot of Zulu in South Africa. And he was just like, this is normal. It's just a simple thing of like formal greeting, community, and brotherhood, and talking about some particular things.
You mean like walking down the street or just?
Yeah. And you would get off the airport, be in South Africa, and you see 2 dudes talking in suits all together. It's nothing sexual, it's nothing any of the sort. It was just a traditional thing that's been done for a very long time. But if you bring your ignorance there, then, you cause a lot of issues.
Sometimes like a group meeting, like be like all the men in a circle, be like holding hands together.
Yeah, that's good. Especially if you're doing business in smaller rural areas, then you get a lot of the traditional sense of things and how they do it. And to not do it is seen as distasteful, disrespectful. You're trying to say, hey, buy my product, or we're going to start something here. Or, people are not going to respect is huge. It's not that even you feel comfortable doing, it's just a level of respect. So respect is very important. What other kind of etiquette should we be concerned with? All right, you know what? What other kind of physical greetings are there?
It was different. I was just gonna say some countries like it's an respectful bring a gift.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah. In the United States, I don't think we really bring gifts.
It's common in Japan.
Yeah, very common. Here we like, if we're not getting anything, we're not really giving anything. Unless after you've made us money, in a specific case.
What kind of gifts would they do
Cultural gifts. What's important to these people? If you get to learn about the person you meet just a little bit more, you can give something more specific. But if you don't have that information, then you give something traditional to the region, whether it's a statue, artifact, this. But some people actually appreciate more American gifts than a traditional gift from their country. So sports memorabilia, things like that. I mean, I find, honestly, I think that most people around the world, they're really infatuated with American sports and our culture, our entertainment. That is normally something you should give in respect to that, the highest degree. So something with Cristiano Ronaldo or something like that. David Beckham jerseys. Even though they're not. There's hugging. Very important. So, yeah, people do backslide. But because you think about it,
What do you mean backslide? Like,
no.
oh,
Hey, how's
oh,
you know. But you have to say, like, psychologically speaking, if someone does an extra step, it changes the dynamics. So here in the United States now, most men will not only shake hands, they do a shoulder, right? To make you feel more comfortable, a sense of camaraderie, a sense of brotherhood, whatever the case may be. And you're most likely to feel a little bit more comfortable with that person after that gesture than someone going, hey, how's it going? Hey. Because then it's all about distance, there's no comfort, there's no, you don't necessarily know. So, it's very important to do what the local environment requires to do. Some areas of the United States, particularly New York, they don't do the shoulder. So it's all business. Wall Street, it's all business. Shaking out a hand.
We have a question.
Yes.
How does gender change these dynamics? Like if a woman was to go into one of these situations that happened. I'm not gonna backstab. Say like in Africa where like women hold hands, like it's the same.
No, it's not the same.
So how do they treat like gender?
Well, I mean, honestly, there's gender inequality in most places of the world. You should be cognizant of that before you're going over places. Yeah, and gender is very important. If you look at greetings, a lot of countries, if you give prolonged eye contact to a woman, even though you're maybe just coming into the household to talk about business, they're cooking food, they're bringing tea, they're doing whatever, prolonged eye contact could be seen as disrespectful. And later on in this conversation, I don't want to do business with that guy who's looking at my wife, looking at my girlfriend. But here in the United States, it's just, we have a little bit more equality, so we can give direct eye contact. And, we try to treat women like we treat the men. Hey, how's it going? Good to do business with you, etc. Other places, they're just really masculine dominated countries. Sexuality is very sensitive there. Here, not so much. You get a lot of backlash for kind of going overboard. So that's a really sensitive one. You have to be careful with that. Also, too, so dealing with women. Most countries, since they are masculine dominated, you normally wait for the woman to either reach out her hand or to gesture to you before you reciprocate a gesture. Other countries actually just kind of avoid doing anything unless they approach you, spoken to you, anything like that. I have a lot of friends around the world, and it's sensitive even if you ask about that. Like, oh, hey, how's your wife and your kids? And, particularly your wife. How's the wife, how's the kids, stuff like that. And they're like, why are you asking about my wife? You're like, just asking. But that's sensitive issues to a lot of people in the world. So, very sensitive. You have to be careful with that. All right, week one, overseas, you're gonna have a meeting, trying to cut a deal. Stigma etiquette, what about dining? You're going out to eat. You're showing up. What are some things you should be concerned about or cognizant of?
The way you eat. Like the way you eat, like what do you eat with, like chopsticks, knife.
Method of eating. lot of Asian countries, they eat with the hand. A lot of Western countries, obviously, we use a bunch of utensils, and if you don't know the difference between a salad fork and a dining fork.
Whether it's appropriate to talk about business at a dinner or not, because like I feel like here it's okay, but in other cultures it might be seen as disrespectful.
Is it appropriate to discuss business? Well, you gotta discuss business at some point, but like Maddie's saying, the time. Do you jump right into it? Or
Maybe in America.
yeah, in America we jump right into it, right? Because we're like, all right, man, you got an hour, go. In other places they're like, no, let's talk about, hey, hold on, let's wait for this, and that. So you gotta learn the timing. What about timing for actually showing up to dinner? Showing up for a business lunch. Like you guys said earlier, right? When we do business here, normally when we go to our jobs, we're seen as more productive, more valuable if we show up early. Yeah, you start work at 8 o'clock. You show up at like 7:45, 7:35. It sets the precedent.
Like where you eat, like are you go to a nice sit down restaurant?
Yeah, okay,
or
so
like that?
Location. Is it appropriate? The place that you pick.
There's also different rules for not only like the order in which you eat things, but also are you expected to finish the whole thing, or if that seems rude, like you're supposed to leave, like in China and Taiwan, I think in some cases, if you don't leave a little bit, the host assumes that they didn't give you enough, so they just give you more.
Yeah. Portions, right? And you're eating. You eat something that's nasty. What do? You eat it. Swallow. Yeah, swallow. You finish everything. Because obviously people, sitting over a meal is probably the most important thing in all cultures. Everybody likes to eat around the world. So if you disrespect the environment of where the meal is taking place, you're not going to get very far. People like compliments that, well, that was delicious. Where's that from? Did they get this from this particular lake? What's the process of making it? The more you do that type of stuff, the more likely you're going to get suggestions.
Kind of like your body gestures, like where you sit, or like put your like elbows on the table, or.
Yeah, absolutely. You're sitting face forward, straight and direct, sideways. All those things give off different nonverbal cues. That's all about making people feel comfortable with them. A lot of countries, particularly like Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, you never show up on time. Why? Because things are not normally ready when people say that. You normally show up about half an hour late. So let's say most things are really fashionably late. Because things are not as formal. Things are informal, even though it's very formal to us in the United States.
I was gonna say like some places it's standard to like drink volume 9, so is that,
Yeah,
is that what?
like alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll actually like drink and get pretty buzzed and discuss it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, outside a lot of Arab states, drinking is very important, especially in Germany. You're not drinking German lager or anything like that. It could be seen as you're going to be an outlier. You're going to be an outsider. People want to be on the same mental platform as what you are when you talk business. But this is a no-no if you're dealing with a lot of Arab states. Drinking is not permitted. So, but of course, drinking the tea, the chai, whatever, is very important too. What else?
Going back to the methods of eating, like in Japan, you would be slurping if you eat like ramen or something, but like in Saudi Arabia, that would be considered like inappropriate.
Yeah. How you intake your food? You chew it, obviously maybe you chew it your mouth open when you're home, but you're not going to do it in a particular country. It could be seen very disrespectful. People can't get over it too mentally. That's something they remember. So you always have to be thinking, what will people remember about this interaction, this slurping, pasta, noodles, those types of things. There's ways of eating those. What else? I think we're about done, guys. We'll pick up a little bit more on etiquette Thursday. Talk about more specifics. Did everyone turn in the evaluations? All right. Yeah. First.
The only thing with that, Google Docs,
I want to see like what I can find. I don't
So which email? Zero.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, you should have. What did I do to the therapist?